Welcome to The Localist, a podcast for small business owners where we talk about the highs and lows of building community through entrepreneurship. I'm your host, author of the Localist book and small business consultant, Carrie. The Localist is sponsored by Infomedia, a Birmingham-based web and marketing company where I work as Senior Vice President. At Infomedia, we believe that small businesses deserve big results online. Today on the podcast, we are welcoming back the Alabama Twisters. So the Alabama Twisters are a professional Jiu Jitsu league that is based here in Alabama. We've actually had them on before. In our previous episode, we interviewed my husband, Russell Marbut, because he is one of the owners of the Twisters. That episode was right before they really got into the groove as Twisters. I think they were already competing, but this was their first season competing. So in that episode, we really kind of dive into exactly what the PGF is, which is the league, the Professional Grappling League, where they compete. We talk about how they put the teams together, how they bought in, and things like that. And today we're actually getting to revisit that conversation, and we're adding a couple of people. Russell is coming back on, but we also have Matt Elkins, who is the president of the Twisters, and we have Flearoy Brown, who is also an owner of the Twisters as well. The Twisters season actually starts tomorrow, so we're going to drop some links in the show notes where you can listen in. I also wanted to mention that our assistant producer, who is in the room with us, although not on camera, actually trains Jiu Jitsu at Russell's gym and has competed in Twister events before. So the guys on the podcast talk to him a little bit off camera and maybe roast him a little bit as well. I enjoyed this conversation, obviously for personal reasons, but I think there are some really great takeaways here too. Clearly, if you own a gym or if you happen to run a sports team of your own, there are some direct correlations, but I really think there are a lot of parallels to what the Twisters do, and especially as far as like how they promote themselves, how they look at other businesses and other teams to learn more about what they can do, that any of us can incorporate, whether we're just going to work or building a business or dreaming of building a business someday. So here are Matt, Russell, and Flearoy. Welcome to the podcast. As we're recording, I think you guys are about to start your season tomorrow. So I kind of wanted to kick off by saying, like, how do people watch and what are they going to see if they watch? We'll drop the link to the live stream in the show notes too.
Yeah, so you would find us on YouTube, and every Wednesday night we'll be having our matches. We'll have 3 matches. We'll have blocks, so we'll compete in each block and go head-to-head against the other teams, the other 3 teams that are available. And I think you guys could catch that also. Is that on our Twisters page as well?
I think right now we're just running on PGF Worlds. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to be able to co-stream it, but PGF Worlds.
You guys can get us the
YouTube.
Links, and we'll drop whatever we have into the show notes so people listening can find it there. Let's kind of start, if you're used to watching Jiu-Jitsu, what are you going to see? What's different about, like, the PGF? And I guess a little bit about what is the PGF? And then maybe we'll drill down into, like, if you haven't watched it at all, what are you going to see? But if you're saying, like, I've watched martial arts before, or I've watched Jiu-Jitsu before, why would they watch PGF? What are they going to see that's different?
So the PGF is the Professional Grappling Federation, and it has its own coined rule set. It's 6-minute matches. There's no points to be scored in the match, and it's only decided by a submission. And so there's only one way to advance or to score points for the season, and that's to submit your opponent. And you get 6 points if you choke, or we call them kills in the league. 6 points for a kill, and then you get 3 points for a break, and that would be like an arm bar or a wrist lock or something like that. So you aren't incentivized by anything else but pushing the action and pushing the pace. Some of the other traditional rule sets, they reward you with points, and sometimes at the highest levels, these guys are so good and there's such a small difference in their skill sets that they'll just like get ahead by what they call an advantage point, or they'll score 2 points and then just camp out the rest of the match and stall. And so it takes the entertainment value out of it sometimes with those point scoring systems. But the PGF, like I said, it has a seasonal approach, just like any other sport. And so it allows you to accrue points throughout the season to make it to the playoffs. So there's those incentives to try to make sure that you're pushing the action and trying to submit your opponent.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
Another thing that they do that is significantly different than any other jiu-jitsu rule set that I've been a part of is the stalling calls are significantly more harsh, right?
Like there's a shot clock.
Yeah, there's
on
a
the-
shot
yeah.
clock that starts. You get the initial stalling call. The shot clock starts at the end of the shot clock. It's not a point, right? Because we don't deal with points. It's you immediately go to what's called tabletop, which is one of the worst positions that you could possibly be in jiu-jitsu, and you have to start from there and fight from there. So essentially, if you get a stalling call, that's dang near the end of your match there, right?
So is it accurate to say you get punished for being boring?
Yes, you
Okay.
100% get punished for being boring. That's why it's in my opinion, it is the pinnacle of jiu-jitsu right now because it's the most exciting. It's you go to these. I'm not going to name any names. You go to these other jiu-jitsu tournaments and you've got like double guard pulls and this, that, and the other. And like Matt said, they kind of figure out these other rule sets have been around for so long. Everybody's kind of figured out how to game the system there. So they're no longer doing jiu-jitsu. They're playing the rule set instead, right? So a lot of what you'll see is like, a guard pull into full guard, and then they'll just sit there for 4 minutes, and with a minute left, after the other person's exhausted from trying to escape, they'll just sweep him, win by 2 points or whatever.
To that point, they like the common person watching that has no idea that they're sitting there having this little nuance battle that, as a high-level grappler, you would probably understand a little more. But the casual fans don't bite their teeth into it because they're like, these guys are just kind of hugging each other.
Yeah.
And so with the PGF, it's pretty obvious to see like, oh, dang, he just grabbed that guy and choked him out like it was a John Wick movie.
Yeah.
I think he won.
I think it's really fun. Yeah, like when Russell first started training, I wouldn't know if he won or lost until they held up his hand at the end. I would be like, oh, good.
Sometimes I held my hand up at the end.
But I do think that even if you're not used to watching jiu-jitsu, like a lot of people we work with have kind of watched PGF matches and they're really surprised because they're like, yeah, I had no idea what was going on in other leagues, but it is actually fun to watch even if you don't exactly know what you're looking at, if that makes sense.
I think the biggest difference in the PGF's approach, because jiu-jitsu's been around for a while, there's been some really big promotions, successful promotions, it's that they're just taking sports models and, like I said, stalling calls are in other sports like wrestling, and a shot clock is from basketball and so on and so forth. So they're just taking elements of traditional American sports that people like to consume, and they're just kind of stretching it over the sport of jiu-jitsu, and it's turned out to be a pretty entertaining thing to watch.
It is pretty fun. It's like I get very into it, even though I'm only watching the stream, like yelling in my apartment and stuff like that. So.
Let's go. Twizzy, you giving a Twizzies up right there?
Let's go.
Man, we got to get some foam fingers for the Twizzies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Or
true.
foam fingers like
The
this
twister,
right here.
yeah.
Tossing up the old.
Yeah,
Is
you gotta
that-
add
Vortex?
you gotta add the thumb to the Voltron aspect.
So is that you're
Well, I was
making
doing
a
Vortex.
tornado? Is that?
No,
yeah, or is
that originated from Brandon McCatherine, the guy that started the league. He's my coach, and we just decided at some point that we were just going to change the culture of how our gyms worked and how we wanted to approach jiu-jitsu as a sport. And it was during the pandemic, so everything was shut down. So all of a sudden, the jiu-jitsu culture became a little more malleable than it traditionally was. And so that just came from us. That was our little tagline or whatever about Voltron, where we were aligning all of these Power Rangers, if you will, to form this Megatron type.
Yeah.
And essentially,
killing
that's what
machine.
we've done with the ownership of the Twisters. It's the exact same idea, just applied to.
So tell me some about that, or tell the audience some about that. I'm obviously a little familiar, but so you guys have, it's not just like one person who's super wealthy and wants to own a team, which is also cool, but you have like multiple people, most of whom own gyms around town, and
That are also super wealthy.
yeah, that's
Of
true.
course.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because there's strengths and weaknesses to everything, pros and cons, and obviously having a New York Yankees budget, there's some benefit to that. There's no doubt about it. But what we've been able to collaborate on has just been ultimately it's just been the passion projects of all of us as individuals. When I was at 10th Planet Birmingham, Matt Elkins standing by myself trying to put on tournaments, it's me doing all the legwork, and sometimes people support it, sometimes they don't support it. You know, if I've rustled someone's feathers before, then maybe they're not going to send their students or something.
Preach.
And, you know what I'm saying? And so we wind up, all of us wind up collaborating, and it just makes, it really has brought a whole new dynamic to how to be successful in the jiu-jitsu space, because I really feel like a lot of people kind of like want to go do their own thing and their own little brand. And being able to align all of our efforts under the banner of the Alabama Twisters has been a really powerful thing. And all of our efforts combined it's been huge for us. And especially, like I said, I've tried to run tournaments before, and it's just not the same thing when you got a whole group of people that are, you know, down with the common goal.
Yeah. And it seems like it does seem cool because everybody has their own stuff. Like a lot of you own your own gyms. Flearoy, you coach, correct? Okay, so like everybody has their own.
If you call it that.
I've had a state champion every single year that I've coached wrestling.
Yeah.
So
Congratulations.
So, but everybody has the part that they can do on their own, and then you can go together and put on these events together. So in some ways it does seem like the best of both worlds, I guess.
Yeah, I mean we have a wealth of knowledge and experience in the sport. So, you know, when there's 9 of us that are all experienced multiple years, you know, we can really like pull on that experience and make stuff happen, you know.
And everyone has a different perspective, you know. That's one thing that we all are so different in all of our gyms. While our jiu-jitsu gyms all have something a little bit different, the culture's all a little bit different, and we're able to cover each other's blind spots, I feel like, really, really well because of that. I think that some of the other organizations in the league are going to have a little bit tougher of a time because they're going to be so dominated by one person's perspective. And I think, maybe I'm tone deaf to it, but I feel like we do a great job of communicating. Even, you know, sometimes when there's 9 voices, it gets a little loud, but I think that we do a great job of, like, you know, everyone cares about what's truthfully going to work, and if, you know, we surrender to that idea, then I feel like we're going to do our best work. And so far we've done pretty well with just our first couple of events that we've even put on here locally, so very excited.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, tell me some about like how you actually make that work, because I know that you guys have meetings regularly. Like coming together and moving in one direction doesn't happen by accident. So how do you communicate, or if there is like if 2 people are disagreeing, like how does that work, just as far as like making the organization work?
In my opinion, by now we have finally, after how long have we been doing this now? 6 months, 8 months, something like that.
A couple years.
Yeah, a couple of thousand years. It feels like we've managed to kind of let people flow and attract themselves to the thing that they want to be good at. So, you know, there seems to be a certain group of guys that do the front end social media stuff. There seems to be people that do, you know, that they're focusing on marketing. Then there's people that do the back end things really well that never want to be on camera, and please don't shove a microphone in my face. And so, and then there's some guys that are in between that have started stepping up, and maybe even if they're not present in every single way in every single meeting, they're able to, hey man, we need you now, and they step up at the right times. And so we've been pretty successful, as you know, considering that there's 9 people that we've been trying to get. It's just like high school group projects. Like there's a couple of people that work really hard, and then there's some guy that just stands around
Looking beautiful
and
being handsome.
and hits on the teacher or something.
Well,
you know,
there's the brains, right? There's
Thank
the
God.
brawn,
Thank
right?
God. You
And
can
then
say
there's
that
the
again.
beauty. So we've really got the trifecta of everything that you need.
The perfect cocktail.
3-headed beast.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, the 3 of you do a lot of the marketing stuff, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, we definitely seem to have taken that role on and seem to work really well together, and so it naturally is kind of divided into those things, and it, like I said, it's been super cool.
How do you approach doing those things? Because I think a lot of teams that I've seen, like not just in jiu-jitsu, but in general, are kind of like just generating AI posts and things. And I think your social posts are
Okay, listen, here's the thing. These two guys are friends. They know each other, this, that, and the other. They took AI images of, I'm not going to say who it is. They'll know. They took AI images of themselves and put them in an AI Bentley for an Instagram ad. That's insane. That's insane.
So, well,
So
I mean,
we
you're
do
pretending,
the
right?
yeah.
Like-
I mean, I think our brand is like organic. Like
Yeah.
so we do ourselves a disservice if we like start doing that stuff too much. Like
Preach.
Yeah.
so we try to keep it organic.
You have Flearoy also. so
AI
you
has
have
no
the-
soul.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When we do stuff,
Yeah.
you can tell that we sat there for hours and produced it and wrote it and da-da-da-da-da. It's not just us typing into an algorithm. Like, anybody could do that. Anybody could do that. What we do, not everybody can do,
Yeah.
right? And
100%.
I really think that's what separates us from the rest of the pack when it
think-
comes to the social
I
media
think-
game.
I personally believe that there is obviously a great deal of things that AI can do really well, but it seems like there's starting to be like some type of backlash, whether it's over convoluted emails or just like these organize a group chat with an AI or something
Yeah.
like that, and people are like, hey man, maybe not that.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? And the social media game, I think that's something that we are going to be able to keep it authentic for quite some time.
It seems like you guys are playing to your strengths there too, because do they call you the Nasty Nine still? The
Nasty
Nine-Ers?
Nine, yes.
So you have like even that kind of implies that it's like gritty and kind of grassroots almost. So I think it does seem like you're taking the things that are unique, the most unique about your team, and playing them up.
Well, what we're talking about also allowed Brandon, who's from Decatur, to start the PGF and to find his way, because being from Alabama, you're not in the peak culture for jiu-jitsu. You know, Austin, Texas, maybe somewhere up north or something like that. California, of course, but because we didn't have these really high-level coaches, and we had to figure it out on our own. You know, we had to find a way to get relevant or get good, and that is in its own a strength. It was our weakness at first, but after years of just leaning into the craft, now that's what we have that other people don't have, because they've had a silver spoon, so to speak, as they've come up. No, don't get my boy.
Hey, wasn't nothing given to us. You know what I'm saying? We had to get it out the mud, boy.
Except the chains.
Yeah, no chance. You know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
you've
And it's
also
grace.
used Flearoy quite a bit, which I think is another thing. Like, let's take something that is our strength. Like, you guys, I remember the first season. I think that you really had to throw this together really quickly in the first season. And somebody interviewed Flearoy, and he was just acting like, "Oh, we've had this going for so long." You just got the impression that this is like so worked out and it's great and it's so exciting. I feel like you just do that well. Like, when there's a camera pointed at you, you're just kind of like, I know what to say. Is that correct? Or is that, I mean, sometimes maybe
Listen,
saying different things. but-
Flearoy Brown wasn't made for the camera. The camera was made for Flearoy Brown. You know what I'm
As
saying?
long as there's somebody to be like, hey, dude,
Yeah.
not that part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he's done great. He's honestly
Yeah.
done great. When we first started, so I think that this started way before the actual Alabama Twisters started. We've all been cross-training and having the little movement going that is a little less traditional compared to what some jiu-jitsu schools would say. You know, cross-training and stuff like that's usually a little no-no, and we've kind of thrived off of that. And so it's something that has been happening for a while. The Twisters have only been around for the last several months, but the energy and the culture that we represent, that's been something that we've built over several years and is very organic and authentic.
Yeah.
You might say we were born for this.
Hey,
Is that right?
You might say
You
it.
might say it.
hey, some
You
people
might-
have said it.
Some
Yeah.
people
At
have said it.
at least 3 people have said it. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
That makes it official.
Yeah.
But I do think that that's where we have the common goal. I would say that most gym owners at some point, if they've owned a jiu-jitsu school, they wanted jiu-jitsu to be more relevant and be more of a mainstream sport, maybe like wrestling or more like football or whatever. And so, man, I thought you were like,
Get you some
I
water,
thought you were
brother.
just
Get you some water.
not having the
Poplitea's
wrestling.
acting up, brother.
My popliteus done popped out, dude.
I thought you were scoffing at
Came out-
wrestling
Yeah.
right
No,
now.
dude.
I was like,
yeah, we were about to have some
dang,
issues.
Yeah.
Dude.
Dude, how you gonna
wrestled
take
my
me
whole
down if I
life,
just
cuz.
sit down, dude?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit.
Pick you up.
Yeah.
For people listening, Flearoy coaches wrestling, correct?
Yes,
So
and
yeah,
Matt,
this is what
Matt
Matt.
This
is
guy's
the
implemented that.
second best wrestling coach in the state.
Thank you for blessing me, Sensei.
Matt does have 2 state championships in the
I
state of
won,
Alabama.
some tournaments.
I also
Mm.
have 2 youth state championships as well. So we both have 2
Hey,
state
dude,
championships.
that's only 4 less than me in youth wrestling. Dude.
Oh, chill,
You know what I'm
dude.
saying?
And you're the white belt Naga.
I am the white belt North American Grappling Association national champion. Yes.
And
Yes, I am.
And I'm the black belt one.
I don't know if it's considered breaking the fourth wall when it's just like you're only talking to the fourth.
Well, that is true. I'm here for the people,
Yeah.
right? The women specifically.
God bless.
Yeah. Well, I actually want to talk about your Birmingham events because that is something that I think is really cool, Alabama or regional events, really.
Yeah.
You've kind of alluded to this, but we are about to be able to see you guys, like the Twisters team competing at the PGF, which is a huge part of what you do. But even when you're not in that season, you guys put on events yourself, correct?
Yeah.
So kind of tell us about how that goes, like how you decide what you're going to do, what you're going to put your efforts toward, and how they've gone as far as like your perspective goes.
I think that we were kind of talking about it a minute ago. You know, Russ alluded to, we were born for this, or, our purpose or whatever. And having the team in Las Vegas is really cool, but I don't feel called to that as much. It's a cool part of it. But what I ultimately want, and I think that is what brought all of us together as the Nasty Nine owners, is that we all want the Alabama jiu-jitsu culture to sustain and not just be around, but be at the top of the tier. We want to be in those same conversations with these other people, these other big states, even though we didn't start with all the same resources that they did. So I think that that's what motivates all of us, is to get people in Alabama doing jiu-jitsu, competing in jiu-jitsu. I mean, if it scaled to where we wanted it to, it would be a youth sport, a high school sport, a college sport, and then, of course, would spit out at the Professional Grappling Federation at the top is pros. And so we have seen people from Alabama, the PGF owners, when they started the league, rise to the top of the sport and be in that conversation. And so now we're at the bottom trying to just cover the width of it and just make sure that there's sustainable culture and a regular season with a state championship and an off season and stuff like that. And we're just hoping, I think that our goal is just to legitimize the sport in Alabama so that it's synonymous with other athletic sports that kids sign up, and instead of feeling like it's karate or flag football or something like that, that's a little adjacent to the mainstream instead.
Yeah, because you have kids and adults at these events, correct? And then it's fun. It is kind of a family event too. The last one I went to was at Iron City, and people were like, they would come and compete, but then they'd hang out, watch other people, kind of get food, talk to people. Like it does become a hangout kind of event. It's not just you go only if you're competing. I guess.
We don't want to be at the whim of these like national organizations that come to Alabama or Birmingham when they want to take the money and run. Like we want to be that organization that is based here and puts on events and puts them on regularly and gives our people opportunities to show what they can do.
There's no way that somebody that runs an IBJJF event in Alabama or a NAGA event in Alabama or even some of the southern, companies that come to the state, there's no way for those people to care as much about the Alabama Jiu-Jitsu community as we do. And so it seemed to be just another spot that was untapped where these companies thought they could come here and put on a tournament, make someone spend $120, get them on the mat for one mat, and then leave, get in, get out. Just it's just been a really bad experience, honestly. And maybe if people have never done tournaments before, they wouldn't know, but especially wrestling culture, they're very good at running tournaments. They have huge tournaments every weekend with hundreds of kids in them. And so that culture already exists, but the way that the jiu-jitsu does tournaments and wrestling does tournaments, they're just not the same. Wrestling is all about the action and who gets the most experience, and then jiu-jitsu is more so just like, here's a medal. It's like it's kind of taking this karate style little niche inside of these grappling tournaments, and so we're hoping to completely remedy that and try to make a little more like wrestling culture. You know, I started wrestling in 1999. It's in the 90s, Emery. It's in the 90s.
Wouldn't know nothing about that, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dog man,
It wasn't just on Instagram reels with filters. It was all real. The Creed and the Limp Bizkit and the Surge soda. All right. But we helped grow Alabama wrestling culture. It reminds me very much right now of what jiu-jitsu culture is. You go, there's 6 or 8 kids in a bracket and stuff like that. People are frustrated because they're having to grapple the same people over and over again, and that's just what it was. You know, like now kids have it completely different, and they get these sick belts and all this kind of cool stuff. But that's essentially what I feel like we're doing, is just growing the sport culture, similar to how it used to be with wrestling. But wrestling has grown and is doing very, very well. Women's wrestling is growing and becoming one of the fastest growing sports in the country. So we don't feel like it's going to be as long of a process to get jiu-jitsu to follow suit, but we definitely have to backfill the culture a little bit, just because of how the karate aspect of the tournaments kind of took over a little.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like you were even saying, one of the things the PGF has done is taken things from other sports that worked well and kind of applied it to jiu-jitsu. And in some ways, I think it sounds like a similar thing. You're like, wrestling tournaments, we like the way these run, and so we kind of want to take some of that's working and apply it to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
why write our own blueprint when we could just steal somebody else's?
Yeah, right. I mean, I think it's working. The last event, it did seem like so many people around me, I heard saying like, this is amazing. It's running on time, which never happens. Like it's actually moving. There's not a lot of just like downtime. Nothing's happening. There was always something happening. You weren't confused about where to go. It was a really great location. You guys had walkout music for people. It was just way more of an event that I think everybody could enjoy.
It's almost like we were born to do this. I've heard it said before.
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
I mean, I think the event we put on in Iron City was probably the coolest grappling event that's ever happened in the state of Alabama.
I think it was the coolest combat sports event that's ever happened in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, it was definitely very unique. Even the things that, like I was saying, wrestling has some things really, really right. Jiu-jitsu has some things really, really right. You know, when I first got into jiu-jitsu, it was not nearly as popular as it is now. And I remember seeing, like, they started throwing money at guys for winning jiu-jitsu tournaments. And as a former wrestler, I'd kind of scoff at it. I'd be like, they're going to pay these guys to wrestle each other.
The game.
Yeah.
We do it for honor, like real men. Okay.
And pride and
Yeah.
ego.
And all the things that make the world go round, you know.
Yeah.
And so
Not money.
We're talking about the real world.
Yeah.
yeah, not the
Yeah.
exactly.
Not the rat race, brother.
Right.
Exactly. But jiu-jitsu started, promoting athletes and telling the story, kind of like you would see a little more in MMA, or even done best in like professional WWE wrestling. They started like promoting these people and telling the story and creating these characters, and that's something that jiu-jitsu does have right. So we have been at kind of we've been right there next to Brandon McCatherine and Keelan Lawyer, who started the Professional Grappling Federation. So we've got a firsthand look at how to apply this logic to our promotion and our team. And, it seems like we're all having a really good time. That's the most important thing. There have been some stressful conversations that we have to have. It's when you're doing something cool like that, it's got to be that way. But honestly, I think we're all having as you can tell, a pretty decent time.
Yeah.
You know, it's a dream come true to be able to do this. It's something that we've always wanted, and just not knowing how to facilitate it. And so now we see that light at the end of the tunnel, and it's very exciting.
Yeah. I mean, even you guys as gyms, like, you were working together before this, but now you're able to, like, actually really move forward in an organized way. Because I think before you were talking about, like, because you guys, and 10th Planet, Matt's Gym, and then Cobra, you guys already were, like, staggering your open mats and things so that people in Birmingham could experience as much as possible from each gym. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
I think that I mean, aside from always wanting to be in a place as a former, student only, I wanted to be able to cross train with people.
Yeah.
And it became this like hush, like no thing, very taboo for me to sneak over somewhere on a Thursday night and take class from somebody else, because then my coach would be offended. Like, you think that I couldn't teach you all these things or whatever. And I understand that perspective on some level, but we decided to try to be proactive about it and be like, hey, listen, we wanted to cross train. Obviously our students are going to want to cross train. So how do we make that a cool thing instead of this like unfortunate situation? And so we facilitated it. And so now on Fridays, we all go to Ohm and cross train there. Saturday, there's a couple different spots. Cobra usually has their open mat on Saturday. And then Sunday, people come to 10th Planet Birmingham. And we just keep this like crowd just moving around. And then during the week, like, everyone stays at their own gym and they take their technique classes and et cetera, et cetera. But it's good to like get some different looks and stuff like that. And it's also just cool to hang out with other people that like to do the things that you do, you know? And so.
Well, and it really forms that community. Like, I know before Russell started on, that was a huge thing that he would get so frustrated about when he would go to other cities and train. And it's like, they're able to do this, like, cross train. I mean, there's nothing like that here right now. And you really can build up that community. And it is cool to see the jiu-jitsu community coming together, like, so much across. I mean, you guys were already building this, but I think the twisters help you like really even like move forward more.
Amplifies it.
Yeah.
Amplifies it, because before it was kind of just between
the
us three. Not that we did it intentionally,
right? Yeah.
But it was just kind of our three gyms that started participating, and then as soon as the twisters, came along, I mean, Sundays have been popping, Fridays have been popping, Saturday open mats have been popping, so.
And you're able to pull in other gyms throughout the state. And Mississippi, is that right?
Yeah, there's one gym from Mississippi. J.C. Hyatt owns Grapple Jiu Jitsu in Flowood, Mississippi.
Awesome.
Most beautiful eyes you've ever seen. J.C. Hyatt. J.C. Hyatt. They are icy blue. I mean, it's almost criminal.
He won't even wear.
No, he won't wear sunglasses. I mean, listen, it would
and
be.
You allow him to
it would be a
owner.
crime against God if he wore sunglasses. To be honest with you, it would be like slapping God in the face if he covered up those beautiful, piercing, deep, light blue eyes.
I mean,
I love Jason.
I believe you.
You don't ever talk about my eyes
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
You're setting me up for a joke that I'm not allowed to tell right now.
All right, well, let's
What
move
are
on.
you scared or something?
I actually want to
It's
talk
not
about.
your eyes that I talk about like that, Matt.
I want to talk about the team a little bit, but first, I'd love it if you told everybody about the draft, because I think that's another thing that's really cool about PGF. And the last time Russell was on, the draft had already happened, so we didn't talk about that. So you guys just had that fairly recently. What was that like? Did it go as you planned? Yeah, what happened?
It went beautifully.
Yeah.
Hustled the whole room. I left and I felt bad for what we did to everybody else. Right? It was. I mean, we were. Never mind.
So you're happy with your team?
Oh yeah, we are beyond happy with our team.
Some people have said we're the preseason favorites. Some
We
people have said
definitely
that.
just said
Some
it.
people have said that. At least 3 people have said that.
Yeah.
What's really crazy is like of a recent after a recent tournament that happened this weekend, our last pick for our starting 5, Jake Strauss, actually beat returning ADCC trials champion, which is a huge deal, and we call him for $1,000.
Yeah, and
for
he's a Florida man
steal.
too. He's a
For a
Florida man
steal.
too, so they're built different too. So yeah.
The draft went really, really well. We picked the first guy that was up for bid. So this season, every season the draft has had to evolve because the league is growing, and so this season, as we move more towards the Twisters and the Las Vegas Kings and all these companies bringing their entire rosters with them, we only brought 2 athletes out of 5 starters. So we brought Elijah Carlton as our number 1 draft pick. He's a multiple-time PGF world champion. He's been on the UFC BJJ as a veteran, and so he's going to absolutely crush it. He's one of the top picks in the entire league. And then number 2 is his training partner, Kevin Buring. Both of those guys train under Sean Applegate at 10th Planet Atlanta, who is our coach. So we have a really tight-knit group for those first 2. So the draft was about trying to figure out how to find people that were going to complement our first 2 point scorers, because not everyone's going to score points. They're just not. Some of the people are kind of like, we refer to them as anchors. Hard to submit guys that aren't going to give up a bunch of points, but you're not leaning on them to score. So our first pick in the draft was Travis Haven, and the whole goal was to get him because he can choke people for 6-point kills, and he also knows how to hit leg locks and all those types of things. So he'll pick up some 3-point plays as well. So he's like a dynamic guy that we wanted to try to score, because our first 2 guys we think we're going to be able to rely on to score consistently. And so if we as a team have 3 guys that are scoring points every single night, we're going to run away with this thing. And so past that, we wound up getting the Alabama Twisters qualifier winner, Anthony Salisbury, TV Dinner, as we call him in the biz. He
Why?
Because his last name is Salisbury.
Oh,
And he's
right. Okay.
Cooking these fools, dude.
in under a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Stick it in
saying?
there. Click.
TV dinner,
Darn, boy.
Salisbury steak and mashed potatoes in a
Young
minute.
up and comer too.
Yeah. He's 17 years old, and just like honestly, when we met him, we were like, man, this kid he's got a great attitude. He's just hungry. He wants to make it in the sport. And so it was somebody that we thought we could invest in that would also potentially score some points. I think he's going to be a problem even at 17 years old.
He's this year's Rafael Ferreira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be very exciting. I think that he is definitely going to score some points.
That's what I was going to say. Like, he was so fun to watch last season. It's like, who's your fun to watch? Who do you think you're fun to watch people?
It's important.
TV dinner.
Yeah. It's important for us in the season that we have that entertainment value, because at the end of the day, there's only ever going to be one team that wins the championship every single year. And as the league goes from 4 to 8 to 16 to 32, you get lost in the sauce pretty easily. It's just another team that's in the league. So we definitely want people that are pushing the action and stuff like that. We don't want people to be gaming the rule sets, which is, you see people do that in other organizations and stuff like that. So TV Dinner's definitely going to get out there and slang it. And then past that was when we picked up Jake Strauss. And the Darce daddy himself, Jake Strauss, they were about to walk him. So in the draft, if all 4 teams don't bid on you, you get walked and you go to the back end of the draft. Well, we only had I forget how much we had left.
$1,200 to play with.
$1,200.
Yeah, we had like $1,200 left, and almost the very last guy in the entire draft was somebody that we had our eyes on. So we were going to try to play it, but the other team still had way more money to bid, and we could kind of sniff out that they were probably had 1 or 2 of the names that we had circled at the very end, and we were going to get outbid for those guys. So we walked Jake to start, and then everybody else, and I just knew somebody was going to bid on him, and then no one bid on him, so we were just like 1,000 just to see what would happen, and no one else said a word. So we're going to pay him all the remaining $1,200, but I mean, the dude just beat one of the former ADCC trials champions in a sub-only format.
And he's also one of those to watch because he is exciting. He is an exciting grappler and an exciting personality off the mat as well. Me and Jake Strauss get along. We are good pals already. Close personal friends, even, some would say. Some would say.
Yeah.
At least one person has said it.
He was gonna make it to your wedding, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
that
that's
whole debacle with the steak frites at the restaurant.
yeah, that's how that goes. Yeah, it goes like that
And
sometimes.
then he missed the wedding.
Yeah, he's supposed to be my groomsman, but it's all right. I forgive him.
Yeah.
I'll have another wedding
Yeah.
to the same woman. To the same woman. Same woman. I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
Christ is king.
Christ is king. I don't believe in divorce. For me.
You're gonna remarry her?
Yeah, I'm just gonna marry her a second time, dude. She's so good to me, dude.
Yeah.
She clipped my toenails before we got here today. I might remarry her in the parking lot.
I mean, I don't think you can expect that from me. Yeah.
It's all right.
Dude.
You can clip your own toenails. It's working well. I feel like we have a good system.
Well, look, it started when I weighed like 320 pounds, and me clipping my toenails meant I was gonna like pass out due to lack of oxygen
there
to
you
the
go,
brain.
yeah.
So she really did it as like a health thing, and then I just keep lying to her, telling her, "Oh, my head, I get lightheaded," you know, and so she just keeps clipping them.
What it is that the Lord won his soul over by sending him Jessica.
Yeah.
That is true. That
And
is a fact.
that's
yeah.
how he was.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how he's no longer just nothing but a wretched sinner.
That is true. Yeah.
The Lord sent him Jessica, and he was like,
Mhm.
Well, I gotta believe now.
"Gotta leave now, dude."
Damn it.
Got me.
Jessica is really awesome. Every time I hear people like training with you and being like, Flearoy is like a character, that's some version of that. It's like, and then Jessica is an angel.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. She's a saint.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
absolutely adore her.
Yeah, I think that right now is probably a good time to shout out all the wives. Of
I
the
was
owners,
thinking about that on the way here.
because-
They're honorary
dude.
owners, like really. Like, I mean, I know y'all go home and discuss it. I know
Mhm.
they go home and discuss it.
Yeah.
She's literally
Mhm.
sitting in there while I'm
Yeah.
having all the meetings and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So she hears all the stuff too, right?
I'm sure
So-
they get sick of it.
Oh, I've been kicked
Absolutely.
out of bed. These two guys can attest. I've been kicked out of bed not once, not twice, several times.
But
since
that
these twisters
She takes
have been-
meetings in bed.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well,
I think
do.
that's the first mistake.
I got my pink robe on.
it'll be like 10 p.m. on a Sunday when we start our 8 o'clock meeting,
Mhm.
10:30, and we'll just like Flearoy will adjust his phone, and we'll just see that Jessica's in the back. I'm like, dude, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
We're a
Like,
team, brother.
Yeah.
We are a team.
Listen,
I'm
I love
codependent.
I love that. Okay, I
We've been
love
together
that.
since we were 15,
Yeah.
dog.
Listen, when my old lady finds out that Jessica's listening in the background, she's like, you don't even let me listen. You know, so
Well, we're going to Atlanta after this to hang out with the Platinum Playboy himself, Mr. KB. Kevin
But-
Buring.
with that said, I think that all the women in the Twisters owners organization, Carrie, yourself, my fiance Maya, I know that they've got to be absolutely sick of it. So we appreciate the support and the love, because what else are we gonna do? You know?
I mean, I do think that, well, first of all, anybody like your spouse or your partner owns a business. I think that is part of it. You are part of that business almost always, no matter what. And then I do think, and I think this is true of your partners, of DJ's business partner's wife too. It's just like you see how much jiu-jitsu, like how important it is to your partner being like a complete person, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, I think that it helps with discipline, it helps with community. So much of what you said as far as like being fulfilled in life, like building that community is, I think, the point for you guys. And yes, it's always like, oh, okay, like 8 o'clock p.m., it's now time for the call. Because you guys have to have weird timed calls because you also you have other jobs, other gyms, that kind of thing.
Fire your therapist.
Yeah.
Sign up for jujitsu.
I was
Yeah.
I was about to say, listen, it's the best couple $100 that you could spend for yourself a month to go and choke some fools out. And honestly, the unfortunate part that people will never get to that side of it is that you have to be choked out first. You have to be the nail before you can become the hammer. But man,
Some of us.
yeah,
Some of us have.
some of us never become the hammer at all. Some of us are just still getting.
Dude, I'm like a
free-
ball peen now. Come on, brother. Come on.
just eating it daily. No,
Uh,
Flearoy's great.
I mean, I think that's something
Y'all heard
that's yeah.
He said it. He said it one other time, dude.
Well, speaking of that community and the athletes, you're doing another thing that's different this time, right? In that you have a house where all the athletes are going to stay during the tournament. Is that
with a hot
Correct.
tub.
Yeah, I was about to say we don't call it
Basketball.
the house.
Yeah.
We call it the crib.
Okay.
Well, we actually call it the storm shelter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Oh, right. Okay.
I don't know what the other teams did for their Airbnb, but these dudes ought to feel super comfortable. I've competed in the PGF in its early seasons when it was here in Alabama. The first season, famously, Brandon bought a bunch of like single size little mattresses, and we slept on the mats at the gym, you know. And so it's definitely come a long way since then. And being out in Las Vegas, the last season that I competed in was in Las Vegas, but it was only a week. Being a week there was a lot. So being there for 6 weeks, 8 weeks or something like that can be, I know it's got to be a lot on the athletes. And so we just wanted them to be as comfortable as possible, because there's nothing worse than if you've gone and gotten an Airbnb and it wound up not being what you thought it was going to be or something, and you're stuck there for a few days just feeling kind of, cramped and it's uncomfortable. So the guys are going to feel great.
Well, and
Mm.
Jacuzzi.
they
all
haven't
good.
all been competing together, right? So this would be, it seems like good for like the gelling of the team or whatever too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you guys, yeah.
We did have to make a rule that there's no competitive games of basketball at the
Yeah,
hoop.
absolutely not.
There, you
Absolutely not.
can shoot some hoops. You can go throw some horseshoes in the custom horseshoe pit. You could take a couple swings in the batting cages out back if you needed to.
Hot tub and milkshakes.
Hot tub
We
and
got
milkshakes.
So is this like a like you're just thinking has there been an issue with basketball games, or are you just like, no, and
Well,
ahead of time
as a
we're
matter
just
of
gonna
fact,
say?
The day before I was supposed to sign up for Jiu Jitsu,
Mhm.
and this was back when old Coach Brown used to drink. So I had been sitting at the pool.
Yeah.
I'd had a couple beverages. And I decided to go play basketball with this guy. Man, I take one shot. I go up. Whoop. Swish. Come back down. Ankle snaps. The day before I was supposed to sign up for jiu-jitsu, right? So I have
Yeah.
a personal
Yeah.
vendetta against basketball. And then me and Matt grew up wrestling, which is during basketball season. So really, we're just anti-basketball.
It's really, this is what really happens, is that people that are good at grappling and good at wrestling, like the reason that a lot of people get into it is because you don't have to be super athletic to get good at it. It's an output and an effort thing, and if you do that for long enough, you'll get good. Where like football, basketball, if you're not 6 foot, then maybe it's not gonna be your thing, And so
Very targeted.
I was an all county linebacker and fullback.
he's making my point right now, by the way, that what happens when two wrestlers or two grapplers get around a basketball hoop is that they start being like, no, I couldn't have played in the league, but I can beat you, brick, okay? And so
And broken ankle.
and broken ankle. And so that's, like I said, I don't think that it's going to be that big of a deal. There is one guy that we didn't mention as one of our two, I don't like calling them bench players, but there are non-starters. But he's a former professional football player. I'm sure Eric Allen would absolutely dice them boys up. Travis Haven looks like he could have also played some ball, though. He doesn't
Yeah.
Dude. You think Travis
I don't
Haven
understand that reaction.
he doesn't look like one of the Monstars, the blue Monstar from
I'm not
Space
saying
Jam?
that
The
you
original
are.
Space
I think he's a
Jam.
handsome guy. Okay, I think Travis Haven's a handsome guy.
I said nothing about him looking like an actual blue alien, dude. I'm talking about he's shaped like an avatar, dude.
You said he doesn't look like the blue monster. First of all,
The Monstar.
Monstars,
The
dude.
Monstars, dude. This was from the 90s.
yeah, y'all are aging yourselves, dude.
Listen, I tried to hide unk status, and I've
Well,
leaned
listen,
into
I'm
it.
29. I'm not unk status yet. I still got like 9 months, brother.
I'm fully unked up, dude.
Dude,
I hate it for you.
you can run as hard as you want. The fanny pack screams otherwise.
You're crazy, dude. This is, hey, by the way, use promo code Flearoy Brown at jujitsubomb.com if you want some merch that is going to increase your testosterone levels tenfold.
And
Really turn that
show
around.
your age.
What'd you say?
And show your age.
Whatever, dude.
Dude, what are you going to do when you turn 31?
Hopefully I'll be dead by then.
Just sign off? You're going to log out?
Trying to
dude?
live fast and die hard type stuff, dude.
Type stuff.
Live hard and die fast.
And
Carrie,
he's-
what else you got?
Well, I mean, I really just want to make sure everybody kind of like knows how to connect with you guys, how to watch. Like live, just watching the YouTube is the best way to watch.
Follow us on Instagram, Alabama
yeah.
Twisters. We'll be updating everything. That'll be the easiest way to like know what's going on. I think it's 4 p.m. here is when it starts. We'll be out in Vegas, but on the YouTube.
I think it's fun to kind of watch you guys' Instagram as well because you kind of learn the behind the scenes of the athletes too. And I'm imagining with the house you'll probably have a little more content.
We will be making some tent.
Yeah.
Hot tubs and milkshakes.
Yeah.
Hot tubs and milkshakes tent.
No basketball.
No, absolutely no basketball unless it's me and Russ.
We can play. We can have them play horse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we just can't run 21 for.
Yeah, but then Travis Haven is gonna dunk, and then 3 of them are gonna Jake Strauss.
Oh, the guys like, they can't dunk.
Yeah.
No dunking in basketball.
Yeah.
Well, dude, there's 2 guys on our team that could dunk, and then
There's everybody else.
would break an ankle trying.
Yeah.
So is this when you're gonna prove that you can touch rim?
I can touch rim, dude. 5'5".
I
So we
think-
can be
never
watching
seen-
the Instagram to see this
To
happen.
see if Flearoy can touch the backboard. You know.
Get a little trampoline, but like out of shot.
He is the mascot, so
Yeah.
you get him doing the mascot tricks.
Yeah.
A little front flip off of the little mini tramp.
Dude, listen, we got to change the topic. I'm starting to sweat. Y'all are setting me up for too many.
Well, actually, another thing to watch out for, I think, is what you guys are wearing. So, for example,
I did get voted best dressed in the PGF last
I mean,
season.
yeah.
It was a close.
On
It's a
his
big part
on
of
his
it.
own personal
It wasn't
Instagram.
my personal
Yeah.
Instagram. First of all, it was Travis.
Some people are
It was
saying-
Travis Thomas's Instagram.
It was on his own
It
personal
was Travis
Instagram.
Thomas's Instagram. First of all, he made the post.
And he DM'd 400 people to vote.
I didn't DM a soul. Dude.
Oh my
I posted it to mine. I've got a very strong following. I'm a what people call a niche micro celebrity, right? Some have said that
to be fair,
about
we have
me.
somebody in the office who's such a big fan. We made Flearoy
Big
record a special birthday message.
Dude,
for
you know
her,
what?
so-
I'm discovering is like truer and truer every year that I'm alive is that the only man that wants to see you do better than them is your dad, dude. Your homies hate it, dog. When you get a little fan base going, dude, your homies cannot.
When they get a pinky ring and a blue jean jacket.
You
This is
are
my wife's blue jean jacket.
You are the first
Y'all are
people
the same
who come in the
size?
studio that we had a concern from the engineer
I'm
about your
tight-waisted.
jewelry making too much noise.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate that, big dog. I knew I liked you.
Yeah.
They weren't worried about match jewelry.
But it has actually an extra layer, and that's another thing about the PGF is
I'm gonna get beat up.
there are couches around. Everybody kind of dresses up for it. It's like an event, that I think is a fun aspect to watch too.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is out in Las Vegas. It's like a closed event, so it's just people close to everything that's going on that are there. I think as the league grows and something we're really excited about, and I think when the whole thing goes sizzler, is when more teams like are joining the PGF, we're going to be able to start doing home and aways, having home games so our local fans can come to the real thing, and I'm super excited about that.
I've heard that maybe we could be having home and away games in the next season in next March.
Yeah.
Some have
So-
said that.
Yeah.
3 people.
At least 3.
At least 3 people have said it.
Yeah.
Um,
I keep hearing it.
It does change your perspective because watching on the stream is like super cool. But when you go and you're around the athletes and you see it up close, and then you see how hyped they are when they win, or how like they get themselves locked back in after maybe they took an L, it really kind of like pulls you in a little more. So I think when we start having these events at home, I think that's when hopefully Alabama, Birmingham really starts to like back us.
And it's definitely, when you're talking about the elevated experience with the couches and the little red carpet, the league was bought after season 5, partially bought by the lead guitarist and the architect of the band Five Finger Death Punch. and his wife, who is one of the Gracies, like when you hear about Gracie Jiu Jitsu,
Which is legends of Jiu Jitsu.
yeah.
If you
And
know.
so we've been able
Some
to.
have said that.
Yes. Yeah.
Some have said that. And so they bought
At
the.
least 4 people.
Yeah.
On that one.
And so they bought into the league, and the whole goal for them was to try to, especially Zoltan and his wife Grace, they're big into racing cars and stuff like that, and so they wanted to make it like the F1 of jiu-jitsu. They don't want it to, we always kind of joke about it not being like NASCAR. We don't want it to go NASCAR. We want it to go F1. So having couches and folks dressed up and all that kind of stuff is definitely part of the culture.
Yeah. So people can watch out, like on stream starting tomorrow, watching the league. Follow on Instagram, and then you guys have an event coming up in Alabama again in March, correct?
Yeah, March 28th we have an open style tournament. So there's kind of 2 different formats of events that we're putting on right now. We're putting on invitationals. Which are, think of it like an MMA fight card. These 2 people are going to match up. They're going to have a match, and then whoever wins, and that's the end of the night. So it's that's when we've got the couches and the big events. Get dressed up, come enjoy some beers, and enjoy your night. And then the open tournament is just more like, think of a high school wrestling tournament. These guys are going to be in. There's going to be a high volume of matches. Kids to adults, everybody can come and play in those events. So it would be kind of like a public event that anybody can compete in on March 28th. And then in April, we'll wind up running another invitational that'll be more so, hey, maybe these people want to be professionals in the sport one day, and they're kind of in the minor leagues of some sorts. So. And
even with your local events, you stream them and you do commentary, correct?
Yes.
So I like that about it too, the PGF and the other events, being able to stream and watch, kind of hear what's going on, and you can kind of have explained, like, this is how this athlete even approach it. Like, this is what happened with this athlete before. This is what we tend to see from them. You get things explained, like what's a money bag and things like that could happen during the match. So I think that's a fun way to be involved too.
Yeah.
If you want to be a fan of the Alabama Twisters, if you're sold and you're a super fan, other than following on Instagram, is there anything else you should do?
Yeah, we have our Twisters fan club, and honestly, I would say that right now, for people that are watching that are not familiar, it would just be if they're excited by it and they want to see more events. You can subscribe for $10 a month, and that just helps support us to put on bigger events and hire staffing and stuff like that. And and there's also some benefits, especially if you're in the jiu-jitsu community. You're going to get some free access to some seminars that we put on and stuff like that, some local community events that you're going to get discounts. And eventually those tiers will grow, and we'll wind up having exclusive merch and things like that, similar to how the Green Bay Packers have their fan ownership model, and those fans get certain types of benefits. The Twisters fan club is essentially the same thing for us.
Cool. And then some of those seminars, you guys last year had some of the people who are competing in the league come to some seminars, right, too, so and like be able to train with them. So that was like a cool thing after the season, that they're kind of a celebrity because you watch them in the PGF, and then they're back in Birmingham at somebody's gym, and you can actually roll with them and watch them.
Yeah, how much would a really devout football fan pay to get to go and like kind of play catch with Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Or learn some about how he grips the deflated footballs. And so, but like I said, that's what we.
I'm pointing at Russ.
Yeah.
You can point.
He just keeps a little something
He
on the
flicks
end
the
of
booger,
it.
dude. They did a commercial about it years ago.
But like, whether it was LeBron James or whoever, just if you could go and like play ball with them and learn from them as a fan, that's an incredible experience. And so that's something that's very unique to what we're doing, that obviously you probably couldn't do that with other professionals.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to bring up, is how many seminars have we done as the Twisters?
I think we've done 2. We did the super seminar, and then we had Elijah Carlton out for a seminar, and I think that we're due up to give Kevin Buehring a seminar.
And the super seminar, we had how many athletes there? 2, and BMAC, right?
Yeah, we had 3 teachers at the super seminar, and I mean, there were like, I don't remember, maybe 75, 100 people or something like that came.
Yeah,
it was a very busy day. I don't remember getting a head count, but it was a full basketball floor full of mats, and it was packed, and so that was a really cool day. Rafael Ferreira, still to this day, he messaged me not long ago and was saying like, "Hey man, thank you for that experience. That was one of the coolest jiu-jitsu experiences that I've ever had."
Most beautiful cursive writing you ever seen in your life. It's like script.
Do not roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah.
My man, he's a big iPad guy. We'll say it like that. Digital.
Yeah, he's an iPad kid. It's
Yeah.
all right.
But
Emery, can you write in cursive?
yeah.
Oh, Jesus, Lord God in heaven. We're
See,
toast.
dude, you're from the 90s.
Yeah, I'm from the 90s, brother.
Yeah.
I'll be writing in cursive.
That's what I'm saying. It's a lost art. It's like Latin
Yeah.
in this place, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Hate it for him.
Yeah. Poor Emery.
Uncultured swine, dude.
We'll practice later.
Yeah, there you go.
You can have him write sentences if he's not doing a great job in the gym. I will improve my armbar in cursive.
Yeah, like Bart Simpson. We'll just get like a chalkboard just for Emery to
Yeah.
go.
I won't get tapped in the first minute and a half of your next
Hey,
tournament.
I wasn't going to say that, dude. I won't get rubber guarded into oblivion ever again. Sorry, Emery. I love you, dude.
I really feel like we're picking on Emery right now, and he can't defend himself, and he's being a sweetheart, not saying something, but nothing wants me. I just want you to
saying
fire
he can't
back,
defend himself is
Emery. Fire
really
back,
the
brother.
meanest thing that's been said so far. Yeah.
What did he say?
He said that Carrie has more questions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
He was
sorry.
being professional.
Yeah.
Good guy. I'm
I-
not the one that said it. He's
Yeah.
over here mean mugging me.
So I actually don't have more questions. Those are my questions. But
again.
he is correct, and that I think it's time to wrap up. So thank you for coming on. If you want even more background, we'll link to Russell's episode too. But also just check out the PGF, check out the Twisters especially, and
Twizzies up, boy.
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Carrie, thank you for having us.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
We're about to go rock out some pull-ups, dog.
You got Coke on your shirt.
Well, dude, listen.
I didn't want to say anything.
It's been on there the entire time.
Dude, that was part of the show. I was over here drinking out of an empty glass the
Yeah.
whole time too. Like,
Actually,
You're
you
over
guys
here
want more
looking
water.
like-
I was pouring Coke into the glass and then taking shots of it.
I saw that. You're over here like Dale Earnhardt and Hank Williams Jr.'s.
Yeah, dude, I was letting it
Love
drip out
child.
of my beard.
Thank you so much to Matt, Flearoy, and Russell for coming on today. I think we can all tell from their interaction why they like to create original content, because it is super engaging. All of them are really fun to be with, and I hope fun to listen to and watch as well. If you're in Birmingham and want to deep dive more into marketing tactics for your small business, join us at our live event, Localist Lab. They are free, practical, and they give really doable insights that you can put to work right away. For free tickets, head to our show notes and you can grab them there. You can also get them at carrierollwagon.com or on my Instagram at @CRollwagon. The Localist podcast is written and produced by me, Carrie Rollwagon. Our showrunner is Taylor Davis. Hannah Cragen is our outreach manager, and we record right here at Infomedia Studios, so thank you again to Infomedia for the sponsorship that makes all of this possible. Our engineer in the room today with us is Aaron Duncan, and of course, we were assisted by Emery Lambert, who we also called out on the podcast. Until next time, whether you're buying from a local business or running one, remember that you're making our community stronger every day.